Welcome to However, Comma. This is going to be our first episode of the season. How's it going, Dad?
Hello, Kay.
How's it going? If you guys don't know already, this is Dad. He's the star of the show. He stole the show last season, so we invited him back for a second season. Happy to have you.
Yes. Hello, dear. I'm glad to be back. I don't know if I'm the star of the show, but we are the family that comes together and break bread this way.
Right.
We start this year off with a bang. So, what's the topics, my dear?
All right, so we're going to start out with some current events. We got a lot of stuff going on in the sports world right now. Last night was the Canelo and Triple G fight. Did you see it?
No, I did not.
Why did you not see it?
Well, boxing is not my thing right now. I'm more of an MMA kind of guy.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
I think the
so-
industry is going in that direction where boxing is fading, and these guys try to jumpstart it just to keep it the fan based and on point. And Vegas is starving right now for some type of a boxing controversy that they used to have back in the day, but right now MMA is the thing that makes things go right now.
Well, Dad, I think what you're saying is, like you told me earlier, you just don't care.
Well,
You didn't care.
think about America. It's the industry is changing, the climate is changing, and
And yeah, and that's okay. I actually watched the fight last night, and it was a really close fight. I really couldn't tell. I think that Canelo came out and really dominated the first 6 rounds of the fight, and then Triple G just kind of came out in the last 3 rounds and just started hitting him with some power punches to the body. Definitely, it could have went either way, if you ask me.
ooh, it went that way. Don't you know?
Well, I mean, the thing is, they tied last time, so it was like a big thing, you know, just like the Cleveland Browns and the Steelers.
Check. Different
Trash.
different topic, but at the same time, I get
We'll
it.
go there.
But the boxing industry, like I'm saying, I mean, if that's who we want to lead off with, is they had the attention of America last night. They had a chance to put boxing back on
Well,
the
you're,
map.
you're MMA, right?
Yeah, but boxing back on the map. They
Did
had
you watch the McGregor Mayweather?
Yes, I did. I finally got a chance to see that particular one.
Yeah. I think that was the one that was more for media attention, because let me tell you, the Irish, they're crazy fans.
Yeah, they are.
They put it on the map, and of course, it's Floyd Mayweather, so everybody's going to be interested in seeing it. I didn't really understand the big deal about last night. I just think that they were two really good fighters, very evenly matched. You didn't care.
No, I
thought
did
it
not care. It's just it was an exhibition, and you bringing in two different types of fighting. One was a martial art, mixed martial art. One was a traditional boxing kind of a gig, and the mindsets of both of those, those groups of athletics. I believe it was just an overall exhibition to spark the interest of those who wanted to go down either one of those roads. And I just, again, not to be too long with it, it's just you have the changing of the guards. You have
Podcast listeners, let me translate this for you. That means boxing is hanging on by a thread. That's what he means. They're hanging on by a thread. All right, moving on to our next topic. Naomi Osaka wins the U.S. Open. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I got a chance to see the lead up to their final. Both players displayed different paths of getting back to the final. I thought it was going to be Sloane Stephens, and I thought Sloane Stephens was going to be the one that was going to be against Serena this year, but it happened to be this girl from
Japan. Well, she's actually lived most of her life in America. Her mother is Japanese. Her father is Haitian. Spent majority of her life in the United States. But you know what? I thought that she played an amazing game. Even the games, like you said, leading up to it, I had never heard of her, but she made a name for herself this season. And despite all of the, dramatics that went in with it, congratulations to her.
Yeah,
She's $3 million richer. Can't be
yeah.
mad.
But she took down the reigning champion. You're
Nah.
talking about the GOAT. You're talking about the greatest of all time, Serena Williams. Now, that in itself is its own little bubble because when you're dealing with an icon, you're dealing with royalty here in the United States. If you take down the queen, that means you got some props, you got some highlight reels, you got some. You stepped into the play and you won this championship. You didn't bow down. So Serena, not taking this well, went in another direction.
I'm gonna have to agree to disagree with you, Dad. She did not. She knew. That's why she was crying and all that stuff in the trophy ceremony because she knew that she didn't win the way that she wanted to against Serena. There were some.
Well, well, you know what? Look, Serena. No, in tennis, just look at it like that. In tennis, psychologically, physically, whatever the case may be, psychologically, she allowed herself uh, to take her own self out, so to speak, because once you get caught up into the dramatics of your own game plan, Serena allowed herself to allow what's her name?
Naomi Osaka.
Naomi Osaka to come and just take the game because it's a matter of just winning this game no matter how you win it.
Right. And let me say this. Naomi Osaka could have won the game even if there had not been the drama between the umpire and Serena. However, there was. And she knows that that ultimately affected whatever outcome. The world may never know who would have really won the game. But I think that she thought that the call was unfair. And Serena just wasn't. I think that she handled it very well.
Okay.
Come on, Dad.
You know I love you, but
She
here's
handled it
the
well.
deal. There is no dress rehearsal here. We don't get a do-over. I mean, in tennis, you kind of go back and forth, but just to go ahead and just put a closing on this, it's a matter of, in the end, who's going to prevail, regardless if you're playing against a ref, if you're going to play against any type of an official or whatever the case may be. You still have to overcome every one of those steps to win the championship. So,
Well, don't worry,
that's
Dad.
my
On
close
this
on it.
note, they umpires are planning on boycotting all of Serena's games, so I doubt that she'll be invited back to the U.S. Open.
She doesn't have anything to prove to anyone. She has crazy trophy rooms full of trophies, awards. She's done it all. She can retire now. And then there will be probably decades before anybody can come and touch anything that she's
I'm
ever
Team
amounted.
Serena on this.
Oh,
I get what you're saying.
I'm Team Serena as well. I'm just saying, in this particular case, she lost, and it's a matter of just moving on. She can retire right now. That's my suggestion. If I was Stephen A. right now, I'd say, Serena, it's time for time for you to go ahead and retire while you're on top.
He ripped Serena to shreds, to be completely honest. I didn't really agree with his stance on that. And segueing into our next topic, I didn't agree with him on this issue either, as far as the Nike and Colin Kaepernick deal. Now, no matter what side of the fence you stand on, as far as his movement and him kneeling in out of respect for what's going on with police, or out of, he feels disrespected by the police as a African American. And no matter what side of the field you land on, whether you agree with him wholeheartedly, whether you wholeheartedly disagree, or you're just like, hey, I just want to watch football, right? I commend Nike for standing behind Colin Kaepernick. So what Stephen A was saying is that they're just hijacking an issue. And this is, when I told you he came out with the Colin Kaepernick, it would behoove you to have a plan the next time you decide to start a movement. It would behoove you. Um, I don't really have a problem with Nike standing up with Colin Kaepernick. A large portion of their demographic are Nike consumers. I mean, I think that they're probably ostracizing maybe a good 3% of the people that buy, New Balances. But you got to think about these kids who are buying Jordans, the apparel, who's buying the jerseys, who's buying this, who's buying that. And whether they're doing it out of, hey, we stand with him and what he stands for, or hey, we just want to profit off of this.
Okay.
He couldn't have profited off of a clothing line by himself. So who cares?
First of all, Colin Kaepernick. Personally, I thought he was the media, in the middle rung of the quarterback controversy here in our present day and time of leading QBs to probably start for any NFL team at this time. And I thought he was a baseball player playing football. I knew that Harbaugh tried to turn him into this type of a QB that through Harbaugh's formula, he would eventually become this hard throwing hybrid of a QB to become whoever he was going to become. Once the negotiations between him and Frisco went a direction, feelings get hurt with these guys. They have to understand what their shelf life is, what type of QB are they, can they interchange between one team to another, to lead him to the point where he's not playing with the team, to the point where he, at the same time, hears controversy going on in our society where the police are just really just acting a MF fool out here. And he got kind of tired of that. He somehow can't know the exact moment, but he had a platform for himself to take a stand. And so him taking a knee, I don't see the problem with that, because if he had the will and his spirit to take that knee, regardless of whoever felt indifferent, then let him go ahead and take that stand. The rest of America does have a problem with that, because the United States doesn't realize that we're 90% African Americans playing ball, and we see that kind of thing that's going on all around us, and nobody is doing anything about it. That's the thing where Kaepernick said, "Oh no, we're not having this." So fast forwarding all the way through all the other NFL
And
teams
you're a veteran.
blackballing him. All the NFL other teams are blackballing him. He's creating a brand at the same time. This whole revolution, so to speak, about, hey, look, all this stuff is happening to our people, but at the same time, here we are making millions of dollars off of these other owners, billionaire bank rolls, and nobody really cares. So, long story short, Nike comes in, says, "You know what, dude, we got your back. We will make this right for you. You're not playing. Nobody's going to take you. So let's go ahead and start this. Let's create this scenario where we can recover, because that's how life is. It's here today, gone tomorrow. This will be yesterday's news tomorrow,
Right.
so to speak."
Do you think, he's up against the NFL? He's winning this case as far as collusion goes. He's saying that the owners colluded against him to keep him out of the NFL, and nobody, owners or coaches or whoever they are. So that's going to be interesting to see how that turns out at
Well,
the end of that.
I wish him the best, but at the same time, you're taking on, a mighty group of billion and trillionaires. I mean, you can go ahead and try to fight that. That's on him. Do what he
But
can.
he's winning. He is, and
But
he's winning.
that's him personally doing that. But guess what? The NFL is moving on. The whole world, he'll fight that one battle. It'll be a soundbite for some news fodder, but at the same time, it will blink out just like the OJ trial. It'll eventually have its own moss, and
Right.
we move on.
Right. Okay, so moving on, we are going to talk about some rules changed in the NFL this year. You can't lead with your helmet to tackle. So today, Cam Newton got laid out, smacked. I didn't think he was going to get up for a minute.
Well,
He,
yeah,
he got hit, and Taiwan Jones for the Buffalo Bills.
yeah.
His whole helmet came off during a punt return and was severely injured by another player who hit him in the head with his helmet, but the guy, Taiwan Jones, didn't have a helmet on. So Dad's first reaction, he's dead. Which is, it's not funny,
Well,
but
this is before they rolled the replay back. I saw the actual play. I saw the blur in the end zone, and I knew it was a head-to-head shot. I just didn't realize that his helmet was off at the time, and oh boy's melon was cracked, and and I didn't know there was that much blood on his face. But the thing is, getting back to the rule change, you are not supposed to lead with your helmet now. They should have this incorporated into the little league system, high school system, college system. They have to rewire the way you tackle at high speed like that. You can't pull back from like a missile being launched. How can you control your body in the air? So it's a thing where it's a bang bang play. That happened to be a bang bang play.
that was a bang dead play. He
Even
could've
even
been-
even when you have your helmet on, it's a thing right now in this day and time. The refs will call it. It's an automatic. You cannot lead with your head. Point blank.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely the safest way. You know, we live in San Diego, where Junior Seau suffered from multiple head injuries and things like that. And unfortunately, years later, it led to his demise. So you never really know how that can affect. I mean, the kid got pretty much knocked out, cracked.
Oh, today on
yeah,
that
so
shot.
you never really know, like, the long-term effects of getting hit like that from some guy coming at you full speed. It's like he got hit by a truck.
Oh, it was not good, and I hope that they use this actual highlight as a lessons learned on what can and could happen in these types of scenarios when we're playing at high speed like that. You're talking about a physics equation that one force is coming at the other, and it's just an explosion in the middle, and it's intense. So they're taking all of that into consideration right now, and those who eventually retired or got out of the game who do suffer from the CTE, I believe it is, when they have these head injuries. And imagine if you slowed everything down on how the brain actually is kind of wiggling all around inside of our head. So we're playing a violent sport. The sport of this is the most popular sport that will ever be of this world, and it will continue until something else comes along. But this is where we are. Let's get into some.
Yeah. So it's week 2.
Yes.
Le'Veon hasn't shown up for the Steelers.
Yes. Interesting. Here we go.
Here we go. So,
Line me up.
Big Ben, last week. I can't believe he tied with Tyrod Taylor and the Browns. They tied. So I think that speaks volumes about how much they actually need Le'Veon. I mean, Le'Veon Bell is definitely a force to be reckoned with on that team. He is definitely a staple of the team, but he's just sitting back, relaxing because they keep trying to franchise tag him. How do you
Right.
feel about that?
This is about finances. This is a contractual. This is a world in sports right now where they hold out with their contracts. They get a running backs only have a shelf life of 5 years. You know, you keep franchise tagging, and then all of a sudden the guy is all washed up with maybe a couple more years to go. Where is he going to go after they release him? He's going to be one of these journeyman running backs that eventually fade out and you don't know his name anymore. The thing is about these guys, they set such high, I think these signing bonuses or whatever, and they keep out pricing each other to the point where everybody wants what the other guy just got, and it's out of control. So with Le'Veon, if they release him, watch out for the other teams who need him, because if he went to a place like New England, or if he
Oh.
went to somewhere like, choose a nice team that just needs one more extra chess piece like Le'Veon Bell, they will just jump on it. But at the same time, Pittsburgh wants to plug in this other guy named Connor who got over, you know, 180 yards last week. This week, 15. You know, you can't really replace Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon could have settled, and he would have been playing this year for Pittsburgh if these guys would just close the door on their finances, on their pocketbooks, because in the end, uh, it's all relative. Just go out there and play ball.
And you know
And
what?
how much more money do you really need? I mean, they're already millionaires.
But you know what? He deserves that money, Dad. He makes almost more catches than the receivers and the tight ends, and he's a running back. You know what I mean? He deserves that money, and I don't think that they should franchise tag him. That's why the Steelers lost to the Chiefs today with the new guy, Patrick Mahomes. And the Chiefs are a very middle of the road team.
That's your opinion.
They beat the Chargers, another middle of the road team.
Well, look, here's the thing. The Chargers has a pretty decent defense. These guys won today. AFC West
Dad,
is coming
Dad,
on up the ladder.
You cannot celebrate a win against the Buffalo Bills.
Well, the thing is,
Doesn't even count.
A win is a win.
They might as well have had a bye week.
A win is a win. A win is a win. Everybody knows the strengths and weaknesses of the schedule. And when it's time for you to get your W, go get your W, okay? Well, there will be times when you will be faced with some of these hard teams where they have every position plugged. You can't move. It's like a tourniquet, and you can't get out of it. So,
Well, Le'Veon is sitting back watching this like, you need me.
of course, and he's
You need
he's
me.
not getting paid. He's
Well,
not
he
getting
has
paid
until
or
week
played.
8
Well,
to show up.
who wants to wait to a week 8 to start playing ball? No, that's, they need to just stop with. Okay, I know he deserves the money, but it's out of control already, and it has to start somewhere, because we're losing good ball players due to this kind of an issue every year. Holdouts. These guys are not playing for the love of the game anymore. They're playing for their contracts. And come on, it's got to stop somewhere. But in the end, who cares? Let's move to the teams who wants to play, where parity is just shooting across the airwaves right now on every one of these teams. It's on any given Sunday right now. Right now, we're at a point where Jacksonville is beating New England.
Smacking them.
Teams that you're expecting
24
you're
to 3.
you're expecting your go-to team to pull it off, and they're struggling, and that means that parity across the board is alive and well.
Well, let me say this, Dad. Like I said, Kansas City shouldn't. They could have very well tied with the Chargers last week. This week, who knows what happens with them? But they beat the Steelers. They did quite well or whatever. But you have some teams that, like the Cowboys, are probably not going to do very well.
How do
Or
you
like
know
if
that?
you,
How do you know that? How do you know
because
that?
they have nobody to throw it to, Dad.
What, on paper? Is that what you're doing? You're looking at the paper?
Yeah.
Look, it's about your heart when you go out and play this game.
I'm not saying that they're going to lose every game. Like when they play the Bills, they shouldn't be excited about that win. You know you're going to win. Or the Lions and Matt Patricia, you should know you're probably going to win that game.
Well, exactly. Again, when you look out at your league schedule, you say, "Oh, that's a win. That's a W. That's a loss. You start doing that, and you believe that hype. The real deal about that is when you kick that first kickoff, you go down, you make your first block, you make your first tackle, whatever the case. You know pretty much how that game is going to go. You pretty much will gel into this thing where the quarterback's got his stuff together, everybody's blocking. Any team can walk up and do their thing. KC right now did their vision much better this year by releasing Alex Smith, bringing in Mahomes, and started their run. They have one of the most electrifying players in the NFL with Tyreek Hill. You cannot go wrong with Kareem Hunt. Their defense is coming alive, and thus they're going to be tough to beat in the AFC West. So KC is for real. They're not the middle of the rung team there.
Is anybody on that team on your fantasy?
Yeah, it's Tyreek Hill. Light it up, bro.
All right, so you might be a little biased, Dad.
Light it up, bro.
Let's talk about your fantasy team. Who do you have?
Oh, well, my fantasy team is ho-hum. I'm as a general manager, I'm not doing very well. I have some key chess pieces, and then I don't have any key chess pieces. So I'm right in the middle.
So who do you have?
If I had to grade myself, I would get a B- right now.
Well, but that's not your fault.
No, it's not, and
Tell
that's
the people
why.
who you have.
And well, I kind of don't want to divulge that right now because it's not as strong as my son Thomas's right now.
Nah. But I think you have a pretty good team. I just think that today, in this particular game, the Patriots are kind of.
I understand you keep leaning towards that, but what is it? Halftime? Is it third quarter? Is it fourth quarter?
Third quarter.
Who are you playing against? Tom Brady. I'm gonna let that marinate in your head just a little bit. Probably the GOAT.
Are you talking about?
I'm talking about Tom Brady.
Tom Shady and Bill Belichick.
I'm talking about that team. Belichick, New England, Tom Brady. I can see three
I have
touchdowns.
To look my producer in the eyes for this
I can see 3 touchdowns right now
Thomas.
before our telecast is over.
Tom Brady.
Watch it there, sister. You just gotta just work with what you got. And so if they're having a rough time against Jacksonville, hey, they're playing the best defense in
One of the
the
best
league.
defense. I believe that's going to be the Minnesota Vikings.
Or it could be the Rams. It could be the
Rams. I think those are top tier defenses, top tier teams, not like those middle of the road teams we had just mentioned. We'll actually get to those
middle of the road
teams later.
I just mentioned that across the board, there's a lot of parity. There's a lot of 2-0 teams right now. 3-0. What is it? 2-0.
2-0.
2-0 teams right now that is probably shocking the league.
So what are the statistics that we heard that shocked us? If you're 0-2, you're 0-2 90%, you are not going to the playoffs, all right?
Well,
some teams out there need to get it together.
There has been some 4-0, 0-4 teams that came all the way back and at least got a playoff run.
Statistics show.
Well, right now, let's just continue to watch this season kind of marinate, and I believe we're going to see some numbers just really hit the charts. You're going to hear some names that you've never heard before this year, just totally just lighting it up. They want their shot
Your boy, it says Gurley questionable to return.
Oh, what's wrong now? Oh, yeah. Oh, audience, just please be reminded that these players are all one hit away from a career-ending injury. Every player. So contracts, it doesn't mean anything to me. They're all one hit away. So, c'est la vie.
All right, so
Play,
we're
play,
gonna
play ball.
play ball. Oh, speaking of which, my boy Yasiel Puig lit him up yesterday.
Oh my
I
God.
need a jersey that says Miss Twiggy. If anybody wants to buy me a Christmas gift.
It seems like what we have the San Francisco Giants, Colorado Rockies, your Arizona Diamondbacks, and you have the LA Dodgers.
The Dodgers, baby.
Well, you have pretty much the same teams that money can buy, and
Bullpens.
that's bullpens, whatever it takes. How much whoever has the biggest bankroll will do and dominate the baseball arena right now. I think Cleveland has clinched over on the East, and Cleveland Indians, and I don't know if the Cubs, but I know the Yankees are always doing their thing on that end. But over here where we live, yes,
Padres.
Oh, Padres. Oh, my goodness.
Trash.
Believe it or not, the Padres has a great team right now.
Damn.
They just happen to just bring some kids up from the farm, and all of a sudden they're just lighting the baseball bats up, and they're playing spoiler again. They're just a farm team. Sorry. I love them, but
All right. Well,
it's another
currently,
subject.
Padres are playing the Rangers. 3-2, eighth inning.
Trust me, the Padres will win. They will win because they are the spoilers right now. The other teams have already clinched. They're just the other teams are just getting practice.
Like the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, them too. They got warmed up too.
No, that's just a warm up. That's a scrimmage.
Yeah.
When you're playing the Buffalo Bills, you might as well not even count.
You know what? The Buffalo Bills weren't that bad in the past couple of years. When they had Tyrod Taylor, they were an interesting bunch. They had a couple of other key players. I mean, these teams eventually go into rebuild.
You know what? That's what happens when you're rebuilding. You know, the Lakers are rebuilding right now. There's lots of teams rebuilding. And I'm very happy for Tyrod Taylor in Cleveland. You're not happy?
No, it's not that I'm not happy. I'm going to tell you two comparisons real quick. Tyrod Taylor, Baker Mayfield. In college football, number one team in the nation, Alabama. They have Taya Vailu from Hawaii and Tua Tuam from Hawaii, who played against each other yesterday. The number one team in the nation, Alabama, played with that quarterback that was substituted by Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was the number one QB that took Alabama all the way to the national championship a couple of times and had to sit out and play second fiddle to this new guy who's lighting it up. So here you have Baker Mayfield and Tyrod Taylor, same scenario. You have two good quarterbacks on the same team. If I was their coach, I would have Tyrod just take this back seat. He already had his shot. Let Baker Mayfield just light this thing up. It, just cause this mayhem, just like LeBron did with Cleveland, and just let the fans piggyback off of it, and you would have Tyrod Taylor just in case if Baker Mayfield got hurt. Come on,
But Dad, they
you got
have
this
two. If you
perfect
have two
formula.
if you have two quarterbacks, right? I really feel like they're in a really great position to do something dynamic this season. I've been watching the Hard Knocks, Hugh Jackson. This is a make it or break it season for him as well. And it doesn't really hurt to have two quarterbacks that are different. So what? You got to name one your starter. But if Tyrod isn't hot this game, he's going to be like, hey, buddy, have a seat. Baker, suit up.
We don't have time for Tyrod Taylor to jumpstart his game just to get Cleveland down this road. You need somebody who's not going to go toe to toe with a team like today with Pittsburgh, and you just match skill set for skill set. You need a playmaker, which is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, with his feet and his arms, will get you those two quick touchdowns right now. He's done it too many times. He's the Heisman Trophy winner. Let that horse run. So if you guys who think that Tyrod is the guy to push this Cleveland team to do whatever it's doing, you just sat a racehorse until further notice. So
All right, so we're gonna close out the podcast today. Uh,
what about LeBron James?
what about LeBron James?
Aren't you going to mention anything about LA Lakers?
Absolutely. As a Laker fan,
Yes.
I'm excited. I can't wait to get my Kyle Kuzma jersey. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I did have a rough time with the whole LeBron coming to the Lakers because
Come on, Kehlani A. Smith. Come on.
he's
Tell
a
the story.
big baby. Oh, I broke my hand in the post game interview. Or he's sitting there crying about why he lost. Come on, bruh. Don't bring this. Dad, he deserves an Academy
When we
Award.
do the bias thing to
I'm not
greatness,
biased.
when we do the
Okay.
bias thing to greatness,
Dad, I am not negating.
you are depriving a city of
No.
someone great to
Dad.
come in to build upon. And
I think-
bring back Showtime. Let this
I'm-
guy do his thing. Let the other players, other players want to play with LeBron.
I am
They want to
not
get on that
negating
bandwagon.
that the man is an outstanding athlete. He gives back to the community, and I'm pretty sure he holds stock for Kleenex because he's always crying about something. If he doesn't, he should. He's definitely going to keep him in business. Now, all of this being said, like not negating that he's an outstanding, amazing athlete, there's lots of people that are really excited to have him on the Lakers, and it took me a while to. I'm just trying to be understanding.
This
all right?
guy-
I'm trying to be.
This guy is going to just affect every team, every aspect of LA.
Dad, I'm
Not
trying
just
to welcome him to the team. It's
you
like
don't
I'm
want
gritting
to.
my teeth.
You already got the guy canceled right now. You
don't have him
hope for his
canceled.
injury.
No,
You
I don't.
Let the guy.
That's a little heinous.
No, once he, one team begets another. I hope it's the Rams. The Rams, because obviously you don't have the Lakers in sight to be able to do
No,
that.
Dad, the
I
Rams-
hope it's the LA Dodgers. Maybe they can come in, maybe jumpstart the Rams and or the Lakers and or the Clippers. But
First of all, the
it
Dodgers went to
will-
the World Series last year. That was amazing.
It will be LeBron James doing that. And so
Kudos to him. Laker hats off. Whoop-de-doo. I'm all about it. I'm sure that he's a flashy guy. I'm sure he's going to have lots of reality TV shows, or, he's going to eat the Hollywood thing up.
That's why
I
they
think
come to
Odell
LA.
Beckham belongs
He's
in a place
next.
like LA.
He's
Right.
next.
Come
Odell
on.
will be
Well,
here.
we'd love to have you, Odell.
He's
LeBron, I've had to work on it. I've prayed about it. I will get there. He's like that guy that ends up on your team and you're like, shit.
No, he is not. He's that guy that's going to be telling other players, damn, come on, dude.
No, of course. And I can't wait until
Come on, man.
until LeVar comes and just be like, you know what, LeBron? My son is a way better shooter than you. He's a way better passer. Boy, stop.
Well,
LeVar, and it's gonna happen. And he tried to put this story out about how Lonzo was hurt, so he couldn't get traded after they got LeBron, because he wants his kid to play with LeBron or whatever it is. I guarantee you it is a media disaster waiting to happen. Don't worry, folks. We'll be here to tell it all about LeBron and LeVar.
Well, that's why it's called.
should have seen
that's
the way
why
he just looked
That's
at me.
why it's called fodder, because again,
You're my fodder.
exactly, and that's why it will be yesterday's news tomorrow, just like the ball story.
Is that Amish fodder?
Well,
All right.
all right, little.
We're going to go into a word of prayer. It's Sunday. And I will lead it. Everybody bow your head and close your eyes. Heavenly Father, we come to the throne of grace, Jesus, asking you to put your hedge of protection over Matt Patricia and the Detroit Lions, Father God. We're going to ask you to bless the Dallas Cowboys with some secondary next week, Jesus. We're going to ask you to bless the Buffalo Bills, and maybe they won't screw up the whole season. Let them get one, Father God. Lord, please put it on Le'Veon's heart to come back to the Steelers.
Doing a lot of
Lord,
praying.
please bless the Chargers and the Chiefs, even though Daddy thinks that the Chiefs they're going to do well. Father, only you know, okay? Father, we'd also like to take a moment to pray for the people that name these football players, like Taco Charlton, Jake Butt, Clinton Dix. Let's pray for these people
Ben,
that choose
Big
these
Ben,
names.
Big Ben, Matty Ice.
Father God. Oh, and the quarterback nicknames. Father God, we ask you to put your hedge of protection around all of them. And in your name we pray. Amen. We'll see you next episode.